How cute is my little greenhouse? This is my old swing set turned greenhouse by buying a piece of greenhouse plastic and throwing it over the top. Voila, greenhouse. And that is going to be, eventually, when I don't need the greenhouse anymore, there will be a permanent garden bed installed underneath that, and that'll be my tomato trellis. It's not perfect, but it works perfectly for where we're at and for getting through this spring without a greenhouse. Do you see all these yellow flowers? They're not so much on the lawn, but all around, up and down the driveway and around the edges of the lawn where it's really wet. That is coltsfoot, which here in New Hampshire is incredibly invasive. So I have been spending a lot of free time trying to pull up a lot of that stuff, because when it goes to seed, it's like little poof balls that just poof, like a dandelion once it goes to seed, and you can blow it away. Yeah, so they will reseed themselves everywhere. So trying to dig up as much as I can before it gets to that point. I know it has some medicinal properties, but it's invasive here and it's gotta go. Wow, it is hot today. I am sweating. This is crazy. This brook had ice in it like 2 weeks ago. And if I have a spider in my hair, just I don't know, pray for both of us, I guess, because I walked through the nastiest cobweb a minute ago. I don't want to put my feet in this. I want to see how cold it is. Oh, no, 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 no. What a beautiful spot, though. This is a future picnic hammock area. And this background noise, are you kidding me? How lucky am I that Bob has this huge piece of land with this brook running all through the long length of it. It's basically a rectangle, but this brook runs along the long edge. How amazing. For the spider lovers, don't worry, I don't kill them. I just don't want them in my hair. Wow, it has been 3 weeks since I've seen you guys, and I apologize for that. I know some of you have been concerned and have been reaching out, so thank you guys for being concerned and checking in on me. That makes me so happy, and I appreciate you guys so much, so thank you for that. And I apologize, I did not mean to take any time off. I did not intend to or plan to or anything like that, but I think I just needed a little bit of a time out. I celebrated my birthday, which reminds me, this is my first video as a 40-year-old, so yay. I have felt so excited about that for the last 2 weeks since I turned 40, because it feels like, I don't know, just entering my fresh next chapter, and pretty much that kind of coincides with how life has unfolded over the last couple of years. But I guess I took some time off around my birthday, and then Bob and I went down to Florida to hang out with my parents for a little bit and visit with them, and then came back and had to go to a work training. I had a 3-day annual recertification for my position, which is crazy that it's been a year almost. It'll be a year in May, but they just had to fit me into a training spot. And that was 3 days last week. I was down on Cape Cod for that, and then came home for the weekend, and then had a boat trip on Monday, had Tuesday off, tried to recover a bit, but then had a boat trip on Wednesday, which was yesterday. So today I'm extra tired, but yeah, work has been a lot all of a sudden. So it's kind of nice, but also, whoa. Whoa. But I've definitely blown my income goal out of the water for the month of April, so that's exciting. And the month is not even over yet. I'm sure I'm going to get more. So that's a positive thing. But yeah, I didn't mean to spiral into 3 weeks away from YouTube. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but I needed the time out. The other kind of major thing that's been weighing on my mind and my heart lately is what to share nowadays. I've been feeling really uninspirational, of course, after 4 years of sharing with you guys, like every payday, paying off debt and saving money and investing and transferring money every Tuesday or talking about it. And it just like, I just don't have that anymore. And so, I don't know, maybe a bit of an existential YouTube crisis on how to show up and be inspirational, because if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't feel like I'm on a debt-free journey anymore. And it's weird because I'm not debt-free by any means, but also I've come so far over the last, 9 years, maybe 10 years or so, since I've been caring about bettering my finances. And then 2018, when I landed that job at the nuclear plant and was actually able to make those changes because I had the income to do so, it just was like an all-out sprint to eliminate every debt possible. And I did that with fury. And I shared that with you guys every week. And it was so fun. Man, every debt I paid off, I just got more and more and more motivated to keep going. And it was so exciting and so much fun. And of course, inspirational. And like now I have been left with just my federal student loans, just one debt payment. And I know I say just, and I say that with the smallest grain of salt, because obviously it's been my biggest debt, and it's still my biggest debt, and probably always will be. But when I started to want to do better and do differently, I had like about 21 different monthly payments that were just swamping me and keeping me broke and in that state of fear and panic and financial anxiety. And I don't have that anymore. And it was so much work to get to where I am today, of not having that fear and the panic and the worry. To be perfectly frank, I'm just freaking burnt out to be talking about trying to be debt free and tackling my student loans and getting ahead on them and whatever. And like, to be perfectly honest, I just don't care anymore. I don't care. And I don't mean that. I do care because they're there. They impact me, whatever. But at this point, I feel like I can mentally compartmentalize them into a place where they don't give me financial anxiety anymore. And if you are new here and haven't been following me and know all of the insane financial and emotional backstory with my damn student loans, then the Cliff Notes version is roughly this. To this day, I still owe more than I ever borrowed, about $40,000 more than I ever borrowed. I have been paying on them, 6 years or so. They're all graduate level loans, so they all have a 25-year payment time frame before they are supposed to be forgiven. So, they've been on forbearance with all the COVID things, and so like actually paying on them for I think like 6-ish years. And during those years of payment and the years they've been in forbearance, not so much the COVID because they stopped compounding the interest, but every other time frame, all of those years, getting started in my career and making whatever income-based payment I was on, I did that. When your income's low, your payment's low. And the insanely predatory, disgusting compounding interest rate structure on student loans is so horrifying that I just watched my balance go up and up and up for years. And that's what I have done for years. Is just watch it keep going up despite paying, despite like trying my best. And it sucks because they accrue currently about $3,200 a month in interest. And there's just no way that anyone's normal monthly payment is going to include that amount plus any extra for principal to even think about trying to pay down your balance. And just for clarity, when I did have that job at the nuclear plant and my income was insanely higher, a very comfortable 6-figure salary, and my income-based payment then was about $540 a month. So if people making that scale of an income are still not even able to compete with the compounding interest every single month, then I can't compute that in my head, and it's just a completely demoralizing reality as far as student loans are concerned. For me, I'm not saying this is everyone's situation, but it is for me. Like, so many years of trying and just watching the balance just go up and get away from me. And I know I'm not alone in this. So in my mind, even when I was breaking my neck for a high salary, I still didn't have enough money left over every month to think about combating $3,200 a month just in interest on one payment. Like, never mind living expenses, especially in today's economy. Like, the math isn't mathing in any way. And so at this point, the financially favorable thing to do is just ride out my 25 years. I will absolutely pay less in that time frame than the balance that I still owe. And there's so many people that just got super mad about me saying that. I understand, like, this whole student loan topic is so triggering for some people. And it's triggering for me in the way that it pisses me off. I'm over it. I've felt so financially beaten down by student loans from the day I graduated and in the years and years since. And, like, I don't care anymore. You know, I busted my ass and I got myself out of 6 figures of debt, and I have a 12-month plus emergency fund. And, like, for the first time in my life, since I moved out of my home, my parents' house, I finally feel financially stable on my own. And I mean that, like, regardless of my current situation. Yes, I live with my partner. My living expenses are incredibly low. If I were still single and living by myself, it would be a very different reality. Yes, I understand that, and I know that. I'm just saying, like, based on all of my current life situations and how I'm feeling about it, I just feel like this is the best decision for me. Even though I know not everyone's going to understand that or agree with it whatsoever, because obviously when you share your finances online for the entire world, it opens you up to a lot of scrutiny, and you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't have done that. You should be doing this more and less of that. And just, like, no one's ever going to think you're doing it right. So I already understand, like, that's probably not going to be a favorable viewpoint for everybody. But it is for me in my current situation, in my current reality. And so because I don't want to be on a debt-free journey anymore, or even, like, we're still going to talk about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, like, burnt out on talking about money just because it's such an important topic right now. We'll get to that in a second. But I guess I've just been really struggling to be okay with not wanting to be on a debt-free journey anymore, because I feel like I am going to let people down. But that's crazy. I can't live my life for anyone else, and not everyone, like, is in my shoes and has, you know, felt the, like, years of history with student loans and all the other debts that I have, and how much hard work it took. And it's hard not to internalize when people get upset with me for saying things about, you know, how I just don't care anymore about student loans. Well, you're going to leave all that burden to the taxpayers and this, that, and the other. And it's just like, oh my God, you're joking, right? Like, it's funny money. It's funny money at this point. Even when I was making so much money, I was still not even close to having a payment that would cover all that stupid compounded interest. Like, no, the student loan system on a whole needs so much reform, and it's just, like, disgusting. And I don't know, I obviously I get very upset about it because it sucks. It sucks to feel, you know, one way, and just, like, it sucks to be shit on for your feelings and opinions. Anyway, I still think talking about money is incredibly important, because the foundational steps that got me to this place of finally financial peace and comfort and life happiness and all of the great things are, like, the foundational steps that I absolutely am going to and need to keep doing. Like, budgeting and making sure I'm sticking to that budget and going back and reviewing it after the month is over. Like, I cannot ever, ever, ever overstate the importance of budgeting. If you want to change absolutely anything about your financial situation, you have to understand where your money's coming in and where your money's going out, and every freaking penny. And the only way you're going to do that is with a budget. So that's never something I'm not going to do. That would just be crazy. But I guess I'm just trying to understand and figure out how I do want to keep talking about money without it being like overbearing and me feeling burnt out on the topic. So I am going to still share my monthly budgets. Transfer Tuesdays, I'm on the fence about. I haven't really made them in the last, month or two, just because I haven't had income to transfer and anything to send to savings or investing. And so I haven't made a video, and I don't know as though I want to stop doing them completely or only do them when I have a transfer to share or something. I'm not sure. But honestly, those were foundational videos for me as well, because it built the weekly habit of checking in with my money and squeezing out a little bit extra for debt payoff and investing. Like, that is the only way I got here. Budgeting, finding the extra, transferring it to where it needs to go. And I know a lot of you found inspiration in that journey with me, and doing those weekly habits and seeing my video popped up reminded you to check in with your own finances, and I love that, and I encourage you to still do that. Obviously, there are still plenty of amazing people doing Transfer Tuesdays. It was started by Mary at Penny's Not Perfection. So if you still need that weekly inspiration, definitely keep finding it. I don't know as though it'll be from me, but obviously, we're going to still talk about the other insanely important financial aspects, especially in today's economy. And whatever is going on over here in the great US of A. I've never in my life felt more ashamed to be an American. So we're still going to do monthly budgets, but I'm going to start talking about my finances in other ways as well, like how I am incorporating saving money into my new reality, like with the garden, for example. Like, the whole garden project is to reduce my food and grocery budget and see how much I can reduce it. I've been spreadsheeting my finances since 2016, so I have many years of data to compare how much I have always spent on food and groceries. And I don't know, we'll have to kind of account for inflation. But it's going to be so neat to compare how much I have been spending on food and groceries every month compared to in the growing season, when I am able to eat a lot more food from our yard. How much am I really saving every month? Is it beneficial? We're excited to find out. We had so much fun doing maple syrup, and I'm pretty sure we have an entire year's worth, which is so cool. I still need to share that video, and I will. I'm sorry. And I guess I would like to shift a bit more to talking about kind of lifestyle topics as well. More than just living a low-cost lifestyle. Doing a low-buy year for 2025 is just insanely popular right now. And unfortunately, I think in a lot of ways, just because people don't have the extra money and things are getting crazy, and all of Trump's tariffs and threats and this, that, and the other. And it's just like, wow. I guess, kind of wanted having an awareness of what's happening, but shifting the intention back on yourself and saying, well, okay, these things might be happening out around me, but what can I do to kind of buffer myself? It's interesting. There's such a mix in the economy right now of people who can't even afford a place to live. And then I feel like there's this other subset of people who just are like doom spending or revenge spending, or whatever they're calling it right now, just panic spending, I guess. And a bunch of people spending money on goods and things just to buy them now out of fear that they're going to be a lot more expensive later in the future when they might actually need them, which is just like, I don't know. There's just so many kind of financially scary things happening everywhere that I think are worth talking about too. Instead of just focusing on myself and my own financial situation, I feel like there's so many other topics that could be really beneficial to talk about, and I look forward to doing that as well. So hopefully some of those things will be interesting to you. But that's enough yammering on. Hello, I'm sorry it's been a few weeks. Thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for checking in on me. I appreciate you guys so much. And Mark and Carol, you guys are amazing. Mark sent me a Transfer Tuesday on Tuesday, also to check in on me. Thank you, Mark. He sent me $12 on PayPal. I appreciate that very much. And then Carol this morning sent me $75 through Venmo, and she said she had to spend a lot on a home reno project. Carol, I'm so sorry about that. But still interested in your journey, and happy birthday. Thank you so much, Carol. Home reno projects, that stinks. Carol, you are an angel. Thank you so much. Speaking of home reno projects, the rental property is finally listed on the market. It was a couple weeks ago. So yay. 2 or so months after we hoped it would be listed, it's finally listed. So I'm excited. Had a lowball offer so far and we said no, but hopefully something good will come along. Either way, we're in the home stretch with the rental property, and hopefully I'll have more of an update on that soon. Certainly some garden updates though. I am super excited about that stuff. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. I hope you're still excited about, I don't know, the year ahead. The fact that it's spring, the birds are out, the sun is out. I'll see you all again very soon.